right, folks, welcome to Focus on Liberia. My name is Soninsie, hosting in this edition of Focus on Liberia on Prime FM 105.5 in Monrovia, Liberia. If you are just joining us, please quickly do us that usual favor. Share the broadcast with our contact. Here, Focus on Liberia. We educate, we elevate, and promote all things Liberia. And we are here today to promote the political discourse, especially for 2023. Folks, we are having some issues with Facebook. They restricted our main page. So many of you may not be getting notifications. For those of you who are watching, please do us our usual favor to share the broadcast so that as many Liberians as possible will be part of today's political discussion. And I'm excited about this one because it is about the forward march of our dear country, Liberia. Well, we have our team seated in studio at Prime FM 105.5. I see the man Momba, Prince Momba there, comfortably seated, ready for the political discussion. How you doing, my dear friend and brother?
I'm good. I'm certain it's good to join you again tonight to panel with you on the show. It's great here in Liberia. Today is Saturday. It's a weekend, as you know. Liberia is one of the countries, especially Monrovia is one of the cities that weekends are actually celebrated weekend. I'm sure many people are celebrating.
Thank you. And I see, folks, Prince Momba is an anchor at Prime FM 105.5. Right by his right-handed, I believe, right-hand side, there is Theo Williams. That is the Focus on Liberia reporter on the ground who is bringing you all the information that you see. Theo, how you doing? Welcome.
Well, thank you. Aston, it's a pleasure joining you from Monrovia this wonderful Saturday evening. It feels good being on this premier platform. I'm honored. It's a pleasure. Thank you.
All right. Well, also with me, gentleman that I invited, he's commonly known as the perfect manager. So if you want your business to be managed perfectly, he got some ideas how to do it. Maurice Kroma is our guest in this edition of this program. Maurice, welcome. It's good to have you. How's family doing, brother?
Pretty good, Austin. It's actually a great thing to be here tonight to talk about our country. Family is doing awesome. I'm grateful to be alive and kicking. I'm still pushing cartoon around here.
Man, we have to keep pushing the cartoon. That's the way we survive.
Exactly.
All right.
There's dignity in labor, man. There's dignity in labor.
Definitely. Well, folks, the center point of the discussion would be which opposition candidate the CDC can defeat or cannot defeat in 2023. Do you know that candidate? If you know, why you think the CDC can defeat that candidate, or that the CDC cannot or will not be able to defeat that candidate? You have some ideas? You have some analytical skills? You have some political insights? You want to be here? Morris is here to share some. My team will join in too. We are also asking, which opposition candidate then, if we can be any of them, I use the word if, then which one of them in the opposition can defeat the CDC in 2023? Will it be Joseph Boakai? Will it be Alexander Bernard Cummings? Tiawan is in the race as we know it. Can he be the one to beat the CDC? Or will we all be the one to defeat himself here? Put on your philosophical hat here, please. Well, the discussion will center on all the possible candidates. George Weah is number one, Boakai is number two, Alice Cummings is number three, and of course, they call him the poor man lawyer, Tiawan Gongloe is in the mix. Let's discuss, gentlemen. The stage is set. Let's start the ball rolling, and let's start with the opening question. I'm going to start with you, Morris. The decision could not be at a critical juncture, right? They say Liberia is in transition, politically speaking. Uh, do we have men and women ready? I see only men for now. Do we have the men in this race who can put on a good fight so far as you see them?
Again, thank you again for having me on this show tonight. So, with respect to our political conversation, we are, probably about a little over a year away from elections,
Mhm.
and the way our conversation is happening with elections, it seems I'm almost confident that um, Weah has some serious contenders against him in the 2023 elections.
Okay.
Yeah, there are key players that are desiring the presidency, and they are coming with a lot of vigor, a lot of energy. So Weah has an uphill battle. He has to do right, or he'll face possible one-term presidency if he's not careful.
Hmm. Thank you. Now, let's get on the man, Prince Mumba. He's on the ground. Mr. Mumba, you are on the ground. Liberians, we are talking people. If anything, most we talked about, that's politics. And if any particular politics they talk about most, it would be 2023 electoral politics. What are ordinary Liberians saying? Are they leaning in their majority in any direction whatsoever? And if so, why are the issues that driving them in any direction? And if they are divided, if you know, why are they divided? Let's start with you, then Tio will come in.
Thank you, Anthony. And so, once again, let me say, um, welcome to Liberians following the show across the globe. Yes, I mean, I think the government, the CDC government, we like the guy said, will face some severe challenge in 2023, and on the ground, it's of no secret that there are issues on ground, and people are not just satisfied,
Yeah.
and so that is just real. Uh, the brain water issues, uh, the economy, and many others are ratings on the wall that one can point to, and to say that it's not going to be, an easy ride for the ruling establishment. Today was the celebration of 70 years of the CDC, and the number of crowd we usually see behind the CDC, I didn't see that. I live in a single belt. I live in an airfield. And normally, when the CDC at that time used to have activities, especially at the time, the late Monarch Pena was alive and very still in that district. You will see trucks. I mean, let me say, yeah, trucks, buses, calling people. So that is not a normal. That is not a regular people seen around here. So it's of no secret that it's not going to be an easy ride. I mean, a few days ago, I mean, business people from Raleigh have been on the radio that their stores are closed simply because I don't know the reason. And so those are issues that people are complaining about. And so those are just signs to tell you that when those signs are coming from the very voters, those that will go to the polls to cast ballots to elect a leader or leaders, when those things are coming up, it just that it's not going to be an easy ride. I mean, from the opening session of the show, that's what I can say. As the show progresses, others going to be coming about. I tell you, see, on the ground, I mean, it's not the usual things that we saw in 2005, 2011, and 2017. No, that's not the same.
Thank you. And Tio, your perspective, what you see on the ground?
Yes, thank you once again, Anthony. Currently, there are mixed views across the country, especially in Monrovia and its environs. Mixed views on all of the training issues back home. And I want to say this: the election is going to be tense. It's already getting charged bit by bit politically. And so, I mean, Liberians, we have to make that decision as we move closer to the election. But what I can say is that there are mixed views. Some are satisfied with the way the CDC-led government is proceeding. Some are dissatisfied. And I mean, Liberians will make that determination in the final analysis. But what I know for sure is that it's charged politically. It's getting charged politically, bit by bit. So we hoping and praying that we all be able to survive and see the election the way it will come and the way it will go. We want to see how it's going to play out finally.
I mean, I don't know if I can add to you muted Anthony.
Yeah, go ahead.
Oh, okay. So I mean, what Theo is saying is that there are mixed views. Yes, there are always going to be mixed opinions about electioneering because the idea of elections is for people to take side. So there will always be people on different sides of the aisle. There will be people who are supportive of the regime. There will be people who are against the regime. But if you listen and you pay very close attention to the ground, to closer to the ground, you will see, and I like the example that Moba said, because you see that there are, the outrage about the regime is increasing tremendously all across the country.
Yeah.
Things are getting difficult. There are plenty of examples of why people are angry. Some people are angry because, national security is a serious problem now. Secret killing happening in the country regularly. People are angry because, the government fiscal arm has not been able to manage the country resources properly. Every day, there are indications of, corruption. There are indications of, the road fund noise. I mean, look at what the university students did to the Minister of Finance and the Minister of State. So it tells you that, people don't trust their public officials anymore. Then you have, other citizens who are angry because, their families are dying from curable diseases and government is just insensitive to it. People get sick, they go to JFK and they die. And so people blame the government for it. And the government have not demonstrated any kind of commitment to it. Recently, people died in Nuclear Town. A lot of people died. What happened to that? Every time President Weah set up a committee to investigate, when nobody know what happened at the end of the investigation. There's no action. This is the first time in our government history that you have an entire cabinet run for 5 years and there has been no reshuffle. Never happened. I don't know. The president is comfortable with the people he have. And those people are also, the citizens are not comfortable with people that George Weah have in his cabinet. And George Weah is unable to make any kind of radical decision.
Some of them.
I think there was some reshuffle. The then Minister of Information went to Maritime. The Minister of Commerce went to.
Come on, Moba.
EPA.
Can we call reshuffle, man?
There was some new coming as well.
Yeah.
I mean, if that is George Weah stand up reshuffle, then I mean, okay, we'll take that as reshuffle.
Yeah,
But yeah, go ahead.
Gentlemen, if I may get in, good information by Momba there that there was some form or something like a reshuffle that took place. We saw Information Minister Len Eugene Namwe went to Maritime. At some point, she was Deputy Minister for not Internal Affairs, but Foreign Affairs. Mawani Diggs went to Cummings, and those are the two.
What's it happened to EPA?
Najo Rennie went to Information from LBS. So
so you can consider a reshuffle, except that it might be to George Weah's standard, right?
I guess, yeah.
And so if reshuffle is moving people from one agency or ministry to the other, by George Weah's standard, he has accomplished that. And I know what you are looking for is, there are key sectors and key ministries when it comes to national governance, especially the economy, is the focus point. Those line agencies that are drivers of the economy. And when you see that the performance level there, levels at these ministries are very poor, there where you want to make the necessary changes so people don't get comfortable, for not producing. And we see reason to just fasten our belts to deliver for the Liberian people. So that kind of reshuffle is what is needed, given the seriousness of the economic woes and and leadership quagmire that we have in our country. But Joe seems to be a guy who does not have that kind of understanding, who does not see that level of urgency in terms of moving people around so that they can be able to perform better. So that said, gentlemen, let me come back with you too. In any major electoral process, there's this one word called change. It is, for the most part, the driver of where the people go or what decision they make. So I will have to ask this question, especially to you, Maurice. Do Liberians really want change? Is this election going to be determined or decided on the basis of change? If the answer is yes, what do you think will mean change or is change to the Liberian people?
I'm really glad that you asked that question, Asuni, because here's my view about it. I really believe Liberians have always yearned for change. Liberians, unfortunately, Liberians have always been at the losing end. If you go back into seeing all of the elections Liberians have voted in, they've always put their hope in somebody that can deliver for them. And those people usually leave them hanging. So when we go back to the era of Charles Taylor, imagine when Charles Taylor came to Liberia, or came to Monrovia. I was a high school student in Monrovia at the time. I remember that. Charles Taylor car basically almost left the ground because the citizens were really hopeful that things would change. But in no time, the people went against him because he targeted some of his opposition members. He was killing people, secretly, moving the whole central bank to his house. So those governance issues started becoming a problem. He left power. President Sirleaf came. We got to give her some credit for some of the work that she did for the country. We got to give her some credit. However, there were still challenges with President Sirleaf. The national legislature is our biggest problem, development glitch in the country. And if we don't address that, I keep telling people that our biggest problem in Liberia is the national legislature. The people are just there, eating money. They don't care about the citizens that are in the country. So we fast forward to President Weah now. It seemed when President Weah was in opposition, there was this massive hope in President Weah, not because he was a soccer player, not because he played football. People hope in Weah was the fact that during the crisis, during the Liberian Civil War, Weah was seen as that person who was kind-hearted. He will go in refugee camp. He will help people. He helped a lot of people. So people really believe that if this guy, who is a non-politician, is giving the executive mansion, some of the goodness that he did at that level will quadruple. It will go all the way down to the masses, the quote-unquote masses will benefit tremendously. Unfortunately, the Weah cycle have not been able to do what the people have hoped for. So now they got to find another person, an alternative, that they can put their hope in again, hoping that something will change. Liberians will continue to hope unless something good come out of it. I don't believe that that we will win this election. I honestly do not believe it. I'm almost convicted that we will not win this coming election.
Okay. Some people, for them, it's good to hear that because there are some Liberians that really want to see Josh Weah out. What I know is Josh Weah is not the best suited guy for this office. This guy has demonstrated it over and over. So to even think that he should be there is to, in my opinion, not wishing well for Liberia. So I'm clear on that. But Maurice, realities are the things we're going to go by. Yeah. You said something significant that the people always put their hope in an individual, mostly the presidential candidate. So, but when these people come to power, evident by their performances over the years, all the presidents we've had, they don't deliver for the people. But then you add it by saying the legislature. So what I want to bring to your attention is that the people tend to trust the president more than legislatures. And I see that these two branches of government, the executive and the legislature, they collude, they aid and abet, they reinforce bad governance, of by backing themselves. Or what I mean is, Ellen Johnson Sirleaf, you talk about, you said there was challenges. She introduced brown envelope. She was feeding these people with money just to get what she wanted.
Totally
We see that in this government. If they want something, they send money over there.
Yeah.
So is the problem more with the president for the change we want, or is it more with the legislature? Which one you think?
So it's a tall order. I can choose one over the other because honestly, the way I see governance in Africa, not just Liberia, the way I see governance in Africa, the national legislature is a mixture of people from different political ideologies, right?
Yeah.
That's ideally that's what a democracy is supposed to look like. People with different ideas come to the national legislature, they take the country interest, they put it on the table, people debate about the issue, they make some kind of amend, and they make progress. But the way our legislature is set up in a way that most of the folks that go in there, they are basically unprepared and they don't understand the role and responsibilities that they are supposed to advocate for. Most of them go in there because now legislature is the most attractive government paying salary in the country. So people want to be representative and senator, not because they want to make change, but because they want to reap from the benefit that the state offer when they become a legislature. You are able to, violate laws in the country and go scot-free. Nothing will happen. There have been several allegations against lawmakers in Liberia. None of them whatsoever have been prosecuted, not a single day. So realistically, in the context of democracy in Liberia, the lawmakers are above the law, which defeat the concept of democracy anywhere. No human being is supposed to be above the law. But a lawmaker can be accused of rape in Liberia, even though the rape law say there should be is non-bailable. A lawmaker will not even get arrested. A lawmaker can get into a car accident and he will walk scot-free and nothing will happen. A lawmaker can accuse somebody and that person get prosecuted only because the lawmaker accused them. But the lawmaker, if somebody accused the lawmaker, the person goes scot-free. You see what I'm saying? So technically, these 73 individuals are above the law. Now, they are the ones that are supposed to say, well, how do we fix this so that our people don't see us?
Maurice, let us lean heavily on the presidency because
I'll come to the presidency. The reason I'm laying this premise, I want you to see how powerful these individuals are, the ones that are elected to be lawmakers. I want you to see how powerful they are. They are only a segment of the governance process. Now, if you leave that sector and you look at the single most powerful person in the country, which is the president is even more powerful than the lawmakers.
Is it supposed to be that way?
So, I mean, the country has a history. It's not just because of 2022. The history of the country makes the presidency powerful. It's the history of the country. Go back all the way into time and see the way we've treated our presidents. We've always treated them as law and gospel. Whatever the president wants is what the president gets.
And so, Maurice, to that, right? Hold on, Maurice.
Yeah.
So to that, if we can agree, of course, we have an imperial presidency. The presidency is, or the president is overly powerful. The president, for the most part, gets whatever he wants. So that means that, as bad as we may debate it to be, if the president with this so much influence, if a president is very intentional and wants to really change the country could be changed, right?
Absolutely, yes, absolutely.
So
if the president is intentional,
why then is it not happening?
So I like the word you use, intentional. If the president is intentional, yes. Look at some of the presidency on the African continent. If you look at Paul Kagame, for example, he has been a radical president in Rwanda. He changed the country language. Imagine a French-speaking country became an English-speaking country.
Mhm.
Intentional. He went in there and said, "We'll change our language." He has held his officials accountable for the actions that they commit. When Kagame go into the cabinet meeting and says, "I want 200 miles of roads within the next 6 months," I don't care how you deliver it, but I want that 200 miles of road. I bet you the 200 miles of road will be delivered. You see what I'm saying? And
Yeah.
they are clear about how that roads will be built. But when you have a presidency that is easily manipulated, like we have in Liberia, somebody can build a 5-mile road and call President Weah and say, "Can I go so you can go and officially launch this road?" Even though the road has no economic benefit, no social benefit, no how you call it, no political, well, at least there'll be political benefit, but there'll be no economic and social benefit to the citizens.
All right.
But they built that 5-mile road, and then President Weah go there and they cut the ribbon, and people celebrate and say, "Oh, the man is the bad road medicine. This man is the bad road medicine." But realistically, the road is no impact to the people. People are still struggling economically. They don't have access to, the farm products. They don't have a way to sell the things and make money out of it. But
Thank
you're
you.
building a road right near the president's house and saying, you're doing development, you buy road medicine.
Thank you. Folks in Radio Land, I'm Anthony here hosting in this edition of Focus on Liberia program on Primetime 105.5. And I'm joining you from the great state of Minnesota. Let me join my crew there, studio, friends, and Tio. And Tio, I'm going to start with you this time. I want to know, you are in Liberia. Why are mostly young people, including other Liberians of all ages, are more enthusiastic about presidential candidates? Have you guys ever come to a moment to start saying, "But why are these people going crazy?" Someone that go to the length of insulting others. And I believe because they think these people can really change the Liberian and all these woes we have in the issue of electricity, roads, and all of that. And so they will go at every length. Are they doing it in your calculation because they believe in them and that they're going to bring those reliefs to our people? Or are they just enthusiastic because what they think they're going to get when these individuals get elected? Why have you come to find out for which the people conduct themselves in this manner?
Yeah, it's two ways, in my opinion. Answer is two ways, in my opinion. Sometimes people follow people or support people on the basis of relationship. Is one. The next thing is on the basis of trusting in a particular individual and having in mind that that individual is capable of delivering all of the goals the country needs. But sometimes in the end, it tends to be the other way around. So that's why you see most of the young folks here will support certain people. So it's just two ways. But what I noticed is that insincerity is another part of it. Sometimes you're not sincere. People bring you to power and expect that you deliver. You go places and make speeches. I mean, you talk big things. And when you are given the stage to perform and deliver all of those promises you made, sometimes it's just the other way around. So that's why, I mean, you can't blame the folks at times. What I think needs to be done is this time Liberians should calculate and know who to trust. They should be able to make a clear determination as to whom to trust.
But Tio,
to avoid a recurrence of making the same mistakes over and over again. Yeah.
Tio, is it more about who you trust, or is it more about the person you trust doing what they're supposed to do? Because you can trust me that, answering, just for a better way to put, it, okay, answering is my boss. When I demand that he will provide. That's your trust. But that your trust is contingent on what I do. So I don't think it's more about trust. So the trust should be the person that you trust in to deliver, and now you just trust in the person.
Of course. I could also say love for country. If someone is passionate about his or her country, I mean, you will deliver. Once you are elected, once you are given a stage, you will serve well. And you will leave a legacy, you will leave a mark.
Thank you. Thank you. And Prince, same question. We see young people. Some of them pin themselves. Some of them call themselves this Peking, Alex Cummings Peking, Joseph Boakai Peking, Darius Dillon Peking. You know, where all these names coming from? These people really believe in these individuals, that these individuals are going to deliver Liberia. One thing I don't doubt is they want a better Liberia.
Sure.
But they are putting that trust in these individuals. Do
Thank
they
you so
actually
much.
understand what the huge trust that the people are putting on them, and you think they understand it to really deliver it?
Thank you. So I will answer it this way. I think three things are responsible for that. Like you firstly said, relationship could be one of the reasons for that. People have close relationship visibility to somebody or political figure. And the other thing could be just extraordinary love. In Liberia here, I don't know what happens in other countries. Someone can just turn and say, I just like that guy. I just like that man. I will support that man without knowing anything about the person. And the person comes with a Mercedes Benz and parks it, and he or she comes from other guys, then the person says, yeah, look at the kind of man is riding. And they support someone based on that. The next thing would be for political benefit. Those who are inclined, like for me, my state in Liberia now, if you see me dying for somebody, it tells you that at the end of the day, I want to get something from them, maybe unemployment. Maybe that person is paying my school fees. But what is lacking in there is not just forgetting about the relationship, forgetting about how handsome or beautiful the person is, and then looking at the quality and the nationalistic spirit in our person, the sincerity in our person. In Liberia, many of us are insincere. Many of us use politics to get to state power and enrich ourselves. Yeah. That's how Liberians are. So what we need to learn as Liberians, and I think we're trying to do that. I mean, not to just see someone probably on the radio or, I mean, appearing in public and using their tongue to just say anything and just go for it. You need to go beyond. You need to see something in somebody before you can take power. For me, I'm a different kind of person. I don't support people based on relationship. I don't support people based on what street world they have. And so what is lacking in what people do in Liberia, like they say, you see people pin himself this and that and stuff like that. I don't think they go beyond what actually the individual possesses. What is the nationalistic spirit in this person? I mean, what have they taught you? What are we gonna have? We can sit down with them. Do we have a leverage to even have a chat with them? We don't have. We don't even go around them. Or just see them and support them. However, that is how politics looks like. But it looks different in Liberia. And I think as we are having those kind of discussion on the radio, young people who are most time, not in most time, I always the victim of circumstances like this should go beyond just supporting somebody because we went to the same school or that person has, closer to my uncle. You need to know who the individual is. What can they deliver? Follow their track record. Yeah.
Thank you.
What I think.
Thank you, and gentlemen, I think we are having a great conversation here, folks, in Radio Land and in cyberspace. I'm also here hosting. I have with me Perfect Manager Maurice Kroma as our guest, in studio Theo Williams and Prince Bomba there at Prime FM 105.5. We are discussing the topic, which of the opposition candidates can the CDC defeat and cannot defeat in 2023. So, gentlemen, having, should I say, romanticizing the topic, viewers and also the voters' perspective, let's look at the candidates, critically. Number one, we have Josh Weah. For sure, we know he's going to be a candidate. Joe Boakai, we know he's going to be a candidate because he's clear now. That legal hurdle that was hanging on him is clear, evident that the Supreme Court said the exit clause is unconstitutional. Alexander Benedict Cummings is another candidate to be who had a legal hurdle. That is also out of the way because the charges against him, or the entire case, has been thrown through the window. And then, of course, Tiawan Gongloe, the poor man lawyer, they call him. This guy is trying all his best to get in the mix, right? So we are all set with 4 candidates. We are hoping for a woman or woman to get in the race, and our sisters and mothers should not disappoint me. I want to see some of them in the race. So the stage is set. Let's look at these 4 men. My first question, Maurice, among them, which of these candidates will find it most difficult to win, and why?
Thank you again. This is a very interesting question. So I will tell you my view about who I think stand the least chance against Weah. I feel that person will be Alexander Cummings.
Okay.
And it's for several reasons. I feel, in 2017, when Cummings came to the scene, he was with no blemish. He had, this corporate America guy who ascended to one of the highest offices in Coca-Cola. He was a Liberian, but he left Liberia when he was very young. He came to America. He worked his butt off. He worked extremely hard to get to where he got. So he became an inspiration for a lot of people. Between 2017 and 2022, Cummings have accumulated some political dirt on him.
Are they realistic?
Whether realistic or not, in the eyes of Liberians, when they make assumptions about you that stick on you, even if it is false, it stays with you.
What are some of those political dirts he pick up you think that will serve as hindrance to his
Very
chances?
good. Very good question. So I feel, between 2017 and 2022, 2017, the first time when the elections went to the second round and, the party went through all that legal hurdle, at some point, people were expecting Cummings to endorse a Unity Party candidacy or a CDC candidacy, because those are the two parties that went to the second round.
And how would that have benefited him today?
It would have benefited him tremendously. One is that if you publicly say, okay, this candidate is my preferred candidate for the second round of the election, you have cashed in, so you have deposited into one of those candidates' account what they will pay you back tomorrow. It's a political debt.
And you think they would not blame him for supporting a person? For example, let's say he had decided to have supported the CDC.
Yeah.
And many have found him serious issues where we are now.
Yeah.
Don't you think they would have blamed that on him? Because some sedition who all they did was supported Joshua. People are holding them responsible today.
But so there are people who supported Weah in 2017 who now have distanced themselves and they're fighting Weah right now publicly.
But people still blame them.
Yeah, but they have owned up to their own errors and say, okay, this was a blunder on my side, I made it. But the point I'm making here, as I want you to hear, is that if Cummings had endorsed President Weah in 2017, he said, okay, President, George Weah is my candidate, because we went to Ganta, where 4-5 political parties, it was, Ure, Cummings and Prince Johnson and all these people went to Ganta. We held each other's hands. I'm obligated to supporting President Weah presidency. I think at that beginning, his experience would have counted in Weah administration from the beginning. They would have consulted him how the governance should go. He would have detected some of the things that would have happened at that time because he had taken side.
Well, Maurice, that is debatable, but let's look at
this.
Hold on, Maurice. Let's look at this side. The other thing he said was that, he has come from the United States. He was the corporate guy. He was this clean hands guy.
Yeah.
And, and he has no blemish. That's the word you use. And you are saying that was the right person then because he was not associated with any of the political misdealings in Liberia. So it was the perfect opportunity for him to have been chosen. But you have forgotten something. They say he has just come. He was new. He didn't wait for his time. They
That's
didn't
right.
know him.
Yeah,
And yet, hold on, here's the main part. And yet, he won 112,000 votes.
that's correct.
I believe they says
Fourth.
third in Masorado County, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh, in Maserado. Yeah, he
In
came third.
Masorado
Yes.
County.
Yes.
He came third in about 5 counties and fourth in other counties. That was
Yeah.
his first time. That was 18 months.
Yeah.
Are you saying because of what you consider as political dirt now,
Yeah.
he is not in any way going to grow his numbers despite of the effort he's making? So he
I don't
has the
believe
least
that.
chance?
I don't believe he can increase that number. I don't believe that. So
What will stop that? What will stop that growth?
so Mr. Cummings can invest up to $5 million in a Liberian election. I don't think he will get more than 100,000, 112,000 votes that he got in 2017 election. Because I feel the whole CPP noise, he became a bigger victim of it than anybody else. And the way they managed that process made him look like he was more of a person who was seeking their own personal desire than the collective interest of the country.
You
So
think?
I'm not saying that was
is accurate? You think that is accurate?
so listen to what I'm saying. I'm saying the
Mhm.
way they managed the process, the way it was portrayed to the Liberian people,
Mhm.
it made it seem like he was in it for himself and not the interest of the people.
And what's about the others? They were not in it for themselves.
So the way the messaging have
Mhm.
gone out,
Mhm.
it seemed now that JMB and the Yombly and the DeLong are the people that were actually advocating for the masses, and the Cummings and the Ability were the people that were in it because they wanted to get their own interest ahead.
I disagree with that. You can make the argument that they were all fighting because there were 2 candidates in the CPP
Uh-huh.
for the CPP presidential candidate post or stand bearership, right?
Yeah.
That was Boakai and Cummings. And so they didn't have a contest, right? They didn't to carry on their political activities to see themselves
correct.
at the top.
Yeah.
That's what they did. Now, for that to mean that only Cummings did it in a way that suggested that he was all in that for himself, and Boakai was never, and Yombly was never, and John, what is the DeLong was never. Morris, I can't buy it, but
So actually, I want you to hear the point that I'm making. Though I'm not saying
please.
these are the facts. I'm saying perception in politics is extremely important.
Mm-hmm.
It's the way people perceive things.
Mm-hmm.
If you go to Liberia right now and do a sample polling
Mm-hmm.
and take 150 people and ask them about their perception about the end of the CPP,
Mm-hmm.
I promise you, at least 70% of those people will blame it on Cummings.
And you think because Cummings team did a poor job in the messaging, and so that is why the whole team, in your opinion, looks like it has fallen on them flat?
So it's a combination of his team and the entire process, the way that the way they manage that political process. It seemed like JMB and team made it seem, like this thing here that Cummings the one creating all this problem here. One, they actually the allegation against him that the paper, the framework document was manipulated by Cummings. That alone created the dirt that Cummings up to now have not gotten out of it yet. Because but now the perception is out there that Cummings, the mayor, manipulated this document because he wanted to see himself at the helm of power.
Any other reason why you think Cummings does not stand a better chance or stands the slimmest chance, if I can put it that way?
The CPP arrangement is one reason why I believe that he doesn't have a good chance. The second part is that the ground politics, Cummings is still not connected with the ground politics yet.
Okay.
I honestly believe that most of Cummings' politics are social media politics, that people in the diaspora politics. Most of his strongest forces are in the diaspora.
Any other thing you wish to add there?
Cummings has not connected with the people in Newcretown and West Point and Logan Town and Lofa County. He's not connected with those people yet. He has done extremely well with reaching out But that reaching out has not translated into the kind of support that we perceive.
So if you say that has not,
Mm-hmm.
I believe we have about 16 months or so to
Yes.
election.
Yeah.
You think if all his efforts
Mm-hmm.
are yet to translate into the numbers that he need to win, don't you think he has time to strike that
Yeah. So
possibility?
if I was Cummings, if I was if I was Cummings or I was very close to him,
Mhm.
my advice would be to him is to connect with a running mate immediately. Let him announce his running mate. The sooner he announces his running mate,
Mhm.
and they get in the on the field and start to work the grounds, that running mate should be somebody who is, I don't want to just throw in. I could throw some names out there, but if I don't know what that would mean for the show, but I
No,
could throw some names out there.
this,
So
this is free discussion. Go ahead. You have
I mean,
names?
think about it. If Cummings choose, for example, the Nobel laureate, what's her name,
Lemon Boy.
Lima Bowie.
Lima Bowie as a running mate.
Mhm.
Lima is connected in Montserrat, Bon County area. She has done a lot of work in the country. People know her naturally. If Cummings say, okay, Lima and
She has no history of winning any numbers
he has
electorally.
never been in politics, it's a good thing for him. It's a good thing for him to announce somebody like a Lima who can say, well, I served in President Salif administration for a very short time as the ambassador for peace, and I resigned based on principles because I felt the government was connected to corruption. So I left the government. She can tell that story, and people understand it because
Is it because she's woman or because of her record?
that's one. That's another thing. She's a female. She is a Nobel laureate. She has
And
international
how is that female
recognition.
important in convincing Liberians to vote for her? We had Ellen Johnson Sirleaf. The end of the story was or still is that she was corrupt. Now we have Weah Howard Taylor. I'm not sure Liberians are impressed with her. Other than she just been there and I ain't even vocal enough when it comes to females issue. So how is just she being a female is going to be like the magic wine to winning people over?
So believe it or not, elections are based on ethnicity, it's based on religion, it's based on gender.
Mhm.
Those are the reasons people go to vote for their candidate of choice in most developing countries in Africa. It's either based on religion, it's based on ethnicity, it's based on gender.
Mhm.
So
Thank
people want to see somebody that looked like them. People want to see people that believe like them. People want to see people that they can that articulate like them. So
Thank
a Joa Howard Taylor is as important as a Lema Bowie, as an Ellen Johnson Sirleaf. All of those people are key women elements in the country, right?
Thank you.
So, yeah, so you can dismiss the fact that because Ellen didn't do anything. I mean, Lema is not going. That's
Thank
not.
you. Thank you. Let me welcome a constant, and maybe I should say a member, or affiliate member of Focus on the Brand. I don't know which category to even put him in because this guy is so regular here. He's one of those who started with Focus on Nigeria from the get-go. Rabo Gagwa, Focus on Liberia, established in Atlanta, Georgia. He having to be a resident of Atlanta, Georgia. Rabo, welcome, good friend. How you been?
I've been great, man. Thank you so much. I apologize for being so late.
Mhm.
I kind of I was taking a nap and I overslept a little bit, so I apologize about that. But it's good to be back on. I haven't been on for a minute. I see that we got the Prime FM crew in the back,
Right.
relating the show. Congratulations to you guys, and I'm proud of everything that Focus on Liberia has achieved.
I mean, I'm glad, though you are late, that you got that rest.
Yeah, I did
Your
it.
voice is energetic and
Yeah,
relaxed, and I
yes,
know we're going to get the best thoughts of out of you as we look at the possibility of any of the men we know so far for the presidency of Liberia. And so, welcome. We were talking about Alice Cummings. The
hmm
question I asked was of the four men that we know now: Weah, Boakai, Gongloe, and who else am I missing? Yeah, we are Gongloe, Boakai, and Cummings, right?
right.
Which among them, which one of them will find it most difficult, all right, to win? And why? I'm sure you were listening to Morris. Morris said Cummings. He gave a reason. Not I have some questions there. So let's hear you. What do you think?
Well, I do agree to some extent that Cummings will definitely face some difficulties with regards to the election coming up. But you have to put things in context. I think a lot of Liberians in 2017 referred to Cummings as the stranger in town. He was this new guy in town. And the debate then was that he was unknown. People did not know who this guy was. He was known to Liberians, to the voting population in Liberia. While we are not in 2017 no longer, we are not in 2023. And I think from 2017 to 2023, though I have some serious disagreements with some of the decisions that Comey has made, which I think will hurt him next year's election. I think that he's no longer seen as this stranger no more. He has formed part of the, if I may say, political elites in our country now, right?
Was that stranger thing a minus for him? And now
Well,
that he's no longer a stranger, can that be a positive for him, Robert, you think?
I think it is to many extents, because when you talk about stranger, people were not only questioning who this guy were. His political opponent was basically reminding voters of the diaspora disadvantage or advantage, whichever perspective you see it, right? Who is this guy if he becomes president of our country? Where has he been? There were questions about, well, it seemed like he just came back to Liberia to run for office. He has spent many of his years in the diaspora working for one of the biggest cohort.
You think that was fair to Cummings? I mean, this man is a Liberian, for Christ's sake, man. This is a Liberian, born in Liberia, grew up in Liberia, went to school, and came here. And it's like he planned his life. Hey, at this time, I will bend my head down to work for money. And when I've acquired enough money, I'll go to serve my country.
But look,
it became a crime for him.
Yeah.
I mean, was that fair?
Well, I don't think that was fair. But the thing about politics is not fair. It's not a fair game. It's a game of numbers, and of course, it's a game of people making sure that the opponent doesn't win. Look, I graduated college, and when I got my first degree, I went back immediately 2010. And the goal wasn't to run for office, but the goal was to ask Liberians in my little weak way as a young man, how can I make an impact in the rebuilding process? But I promise you this, it's been many years after. We've sent over 500 kids to school, and we continue the process. If I went to Liberia, many of the interviews that I did back then, I remember my very first interview was on mail, my good friend Martin Brooks. And all of the interview after subsequent were, why are you doing this? Is it for political reasons, right? We live in a society where a lot of us, and I don't blame the people from many extents, a lot of us are doing things because we have ulterior motives, right? And we're not doing things necessarily because we want to give back to our country or because of some level of patriotism. It's because we want to establish this brand. And I think for many years, though Cummings went back home, though he was involved, I think the question a lot of Liberians had answering was, why is he doing this? And I think they got that answer in 2017 when he popped up, moved back from Atlanta. This is a multi-millionaire. He had the cash flow advantage, and people were asking, who is this guy? And so I think we're in 2023 now. The question now is, he's no longer a stranger. And people, the CDC and others, the Unity Party, they will not be questioning how much of a stranger this man is now. Here is the new narrative. Well, he's not part of us. He's not part of a system he criticized in 2017. And that system was a corrupt system. That system was a questionable system. That system was, these guys are not good for you. These guys have not done what you expected them to do. But guess what? He went to bed with those very guys. We talk about the Ben-Ayuris. You talk about the Unity Party.
Robert, your analysis trying to suggest that Cummings is as bad as the other people. I mean, and you can correct me if I don't state it accurately. So why will Liberian choosing? But then the question too is, well, if they are all bad, then Cummings is not only the problem.
Well,
then it comes to the matter of whether you liking or you don't liking.
I didn't get to.
Here.
It's unfortunate. Well, you were absolutely right. It's unfortunate that I didn't get to listen to my brother Morris's reason as to why he thought Cummings would face the most difficult, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I think the question here now is, well, what did he stand for in 2017 when he referred to those guys as the bad guys? When he referred to those guys as the guy that could not do it for you? What did he mean then? And what has changed now? Cummings on the campaign trail will have to answer that question. And this is the question Anthony.
What his answer is going to be?
Well, he has no answer.
So, Robert,
why make you think so? Because
Robert, jumping more.
The real change.
I'm fired up right now because Anthony is asking some very interesting questions. I'm so fired up right now because look,
I can tell.
Well, look,
Robert.
Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead.
I just want to piggyback off of the point that you're making. So, when you look at Cummings' political history in Liberia in 2017, remember Cummings and the opposition members went to Ganta. There was a meeting organized by Prince Johnson that Cummings participated in. Don't forget that. We shouldn't forget that easily. So from the get-go, Cummings started having conversation with some of the elite in the country that were of no good characters. Prince Johnson was number one. Weah was part of that meeting as well. So let's be honest with ourselves. So when, like Robert said, when 2023 come around and Cummings get on the campaign trail and people remind him about some of the political decisions he's making, you go to bed with most ability. You have to answer those questions. You have to answer those questions.
But folks, Morris and Robert, Prince Johnson you talk about, the Euro you talk about, they were in deals with Weah. Like people chose Weah.
That's correct. But
right? Fast forward, you talk about Musability.
Yeah.
Musability, I believe in the second round, supporters George Weah. The Liberian people.
What I'm saying is, the point I'm making you,
Cummings, it would be difficult. And
yeah, you know what?
The point I'm making to you before Robert King was that if Cummings had endorsed a candidate in 2017 to say I'm supporting Weah or I'm supporting Joseph Boakai, today we'll not be making an argument about whether he's clean or he will know that.
Musa Benedict supported Weah, we still have problem with him today. So you are saying if he had done that, we'll not have problem with him.
No, Chief, you gotta give me you gotta give me a chance to explain myself.
Okay,
so that you can see the context in which I'm making this argument.
Please do.
So I'm saying in 2017, when Cummings came to Liberia to campaign, like Robert said, and I 100% agree, he came as the new kid on the block. Everybody was asking questions about who is this guy? Oh, he's successful Liberian who made it up, up the ladder in Coca-Cola, right? Everybody was excited about talking to him. But at the same time, as much as they had some empathy, they also had doubt because he is a diaspora Liberian. Just like Robert said, all of us that went back, we have all this, small question. People got question mark on us. Oh, what are they making to do here? Why is he here? So those questions translated into what Cummings got in 2017, 112,000 votes. Right? Fast forward to 2023. If Cummings is going to go into the elections, he has made political decisions that people now can look at and say, historically, over the last 6 years, these are some of the decisions that Cummings has made over the last 6 years. Why did he make this decision? Why did he do this? Why did he do that? Are those things, are they good indicators to have Cummings given a chance for the presidency?
All right.
In addition to his, his diaspora link. All of that could be reasons why people have that.
But instantly, apart from that, Cummings is no George Weah. George Weah did not question the characters in box.
George Weah won a war crime code. I don't think he was happy with Prince Johnson.
Well, that's an argument. That's an argument we can make. And I said before, right? I said before that can we trust Ellen Johnson to leave in 2020?
George Weah party criticized Ellen Johnson Sirleaf. They call her all manners of names.
Yeah.
George was part of that team. The Liberian people elected him anyway.
Absolutely.
George Weah came out in 2017 and said, Ellen, I give Ellen 80%.
But here is a deal. The point here is this. George Weah was a part of Ellen Johnson Sirleaf administration.
That's correct.
Criticize her or not, he was part of that, and he was also part of government, giving his role as a lawmaker, right? So to some extent, he is part of that blame. He's part of that what we might call as a status quo. Cummings is not. Cummings have never worked in
This
government.
whole thing is like this coming guy is just not lucky, maybe, because from
Well,
all the things you guys are explaining, maybe it's based on how people feel, what the voters might be feeling.
that's just what it is. But I wanted to go back to the question of who will face the most difficult. So
Yes,
yeah,
please.
so Cummings, from that extent, perspective, might face the most difficult. But when you talk about some of the other things that are important for the election next year, you need some money. You need to be able to raise funds, right? And so, in as much as you have a guy like Gongloe, I was talking to my pops yesterday, and we was talking about Gongloe a little bit. I won't go into detail, but if you looked at economies and all of the givens, all of the circumstances and things that he's gone through, the possibility of forming alliances now with the CPP being dead, the CPP is completely dead. But what is on his side, though, I think he's gained time. He's been able to sell himself out there. The question is, how well has he been able to do that? So that's a question mark. But he has cash flow on him on his side. Unlike a guy like Gongloe, I don't know how Gongloe is going to run this election. Let me.
I want us to end on Cummings. You guys have listed things that you think put him in the category of one with the least chances of winning. What are his pluses? What are positive things in his political closet that he can leverage? Probably, narrowly to get to the top. Wow.
His number one, and this is exactly where I was going. People don't like it or not. His number one. Look, let me tell you something.
Mm-hmm.
If you think the election next year, and I said this on my on the other platform, the Drive platform, which I'm a part of now. Look, Cummings got money on his side. The 2023 election running against George Weah, the incumbent, would not be a cheap election. Let me tell you something. Let me put things in perspective. Let's get serious. Do you think the CPP collaboration, right, with people can say you got money? Oh, okay, whatever. People can say whatever, but Cummings has hard cash as an advantage. The opposition bloc against this ruling party will have to have money. There will be cash violence in 2020.
Any other thing you emphasize the money thing?
Well, I will let Morris.
Cummings bank account.
Morris,
so why are other things? I mean, a lot of things can be about money. This man must have something.
But money.
No, hold on, gentlemen. Listen, this man must have something to have won 112,000 votes in 18 months for his first time. Tipota did not do that. He was a common man in Liberia. Common man in terms of name recognition, that the formula, the man name is all over in Liberia. He did not even get 50,000 votes. And many other Liberians, well-known who contested, did not get that number that Cummings got. This guy we have considered as unknown man.
Yeah,
so
because
that we're not seeing, isn't it?
Well, you're going right to my point. Those people are very famous in Liberia. They the question is, are they electable? I don't think they're electable, right? I don't think they have the charisma and the operational budget to go out there like Cummings. That's what Cummings did very well. He was able to use his cash flow to recruit some folks around him, even if they were not the best of folks. He was able to pay them, and he got himself out there. Look, another thing he has on his side is the fact that he articulates his vision pretty well. He's a guy that can go out there on any interview and answer the tough questions about what his health policies are, even if he lacked the meat to it, right? What his job policies are. He was the guy who said, "I'm going to increase the budget to $1 billion." Well, a lot of us ask, how are you going to do that? Well, they didn't get the juice and the meat with regards to the how, but he was able to go out there and say, "Hey, I will increase the budget, and I'm the guy."
What's about his team? You think the team is like a kind of help or probably hurting?
Well, they are hurting him, especially the diaspora, especially our brothers and sisters who live in this great country. I mean, these guys are, and I'm sorry to say this on your show. I tell people all the time, before Cummings knew some of you guys, he recognized people like myself in town hall meetings in Atlanta. We introduced Cummings to this community in Atlanta in many ways. Okay. But some of these guys that have come around him, they are worse than the sedition that they call thugs. You remember in 2018, I think Morris can probably help me out. There were folks from CDC who would defend anything George Weah. And some of us said, look, you have got to be objective here. This man's a public figure. He's not always going to be right. We're not always perfect. We're not always going to be right. But I see some of the ANC folks now are answering to many extent disgracefully. I mean, from a very thuggery position, defending and attacking senselessly, fiercely attacking people for having an opinion, some honest opinion. Look at what happened with this whole report. A report that was supposed to have been independent, a report that should have been, mastered by the best of folks internationally. Look at the headline. Look at the headline. How can you have a headline like that from an independently report, and you expect folks not to question? How can you have a report that didn't seek interviews with some of the major folks involved? And when you question these things, these guys started attacking people personally, their families. We don't run politics like that in a civilized position. And so what worries me about Cummings the most is not the folks he has to surround himself with in Liberia, because these are the folks who don't think no better. The folks who are in the diaspora, the folks who think they are in corporate America, the folks who think they are smarter than our brothers and sisters back home, they are behaving worse than those folks. Those are the folks that worry me most about him.
Roberts, let us leave it there. Let us hope that what you have articulated is going to change. And I believe there is so much truth to that. And I myself have come in that line of fire or crossfire with it. But, I'm the guy who never backed down. But this is what Cummings said of recent. He said that tone and tenor of my supporter must change because it drives people away. I hope. He will not only say this, but he's going to ensure that changes. And
Absolutely.
not only that the behavior of his team will be able to correspond with the statement that he said. Because the last time I asked him, hey, you said there were going to be consequences for those who lie on you. What do you think? He said, well, I'm looking ahead now. But that's for another day. So, gentlemen, let's leave Cummings alone. He's not the only candidate. Let's come to Joseph Boakai. What is this? Is he the one in the opposition who has, the best chance of winning this thing? If so, then why? And let's start with you, Morris.
So my simple answer to that question is yes. I do believe Joseph Boakai has the best shot of the presidency at this point, just like he had the best shot in 2017. Joseph Boakai was likely to be the president in 2017 because
he called that best shot, even though out of 15 he came with one, and that was best. How do you define best, Morris?
So, Anthony, I like your line of questioning, but you have to give me a chance to lay my premise and then make the argument.
This is a discussion. Go ahead.
Because
simple question, I'll let you flow.
Yeah, I will not say things in vacuum. When I make the statement, I know the point I'm making. So JMB was, the sitting VP in 2017 when he ran for the presidency. He had served the former President Sirleaf, for 12 years without any, tension between them whatsoever. So my assumption is that they had a very good and excellent relationship. So at the point, her public endorsement of Joseph Boakai would have made her to get involved in the political process, ensured that this man who served her for 12 years would be the president of Liberia. But at some point, the politics of Liberia made her to distance herself from her endorsement.
Did Boakai contribute to that in any way, shape, and form?
To an extent, I would say yes, he did. To an extent, yes. Because there were people that were in Joseph Boakai orbit, the likes of Vanessa Sherman and the former United Party chairman,
Weah Page,
were people that were antagonizing President Sirleaf at the time. This is where the leadership come in from.
Did Boakai do something about that?
That's the point. So he should have stepped in and managed the relationship on one side with Vani and Pei, at the same time manage his relationship with the president. Unfortunately, that did not happen. Fast forward to 2023. At this point, I believe JMB has the best shot of being the president, and he can defeat Weah if the elections were held tomorrow. Because at this point, there's so many Liberians that are angry about the current economic situation, bread and butter issues. They are angry about it. And the alternative to see is the old man that they feel some Liberians, and I told you about perception in politics. Some Liberians believe.
And Morris, if I may,
Liberians,
I came up with this. Hold on, Morris. This is a
hold
on, bro.
Let me land on this stuff because if
you will land, Morris.
I forget about
so here's the thing, Morris. Here's the thing. In politics, reality on the ground can be driven by the narrative. And then whoever pushes that narrative better and connects it to the reality and addresses the pain of the people may get a chance. What I'm saying is Unity Party has correction record. This baggage. This old man, Boakai, have said a lot of things that hang around him that he can't even clean himself. We squander, that's one. I was parked. How dare you say you parked when you were collecting all these are things that stay around, and those things hurt him. And the issue of his relationship with Ellen Johnson Sirleaf. Now, many of us see Ellen Johnson Sirleaf more, but she has a huge following in the Unity. She made the Unity Party of why it became that one. And that is the Ellen Johnson she does not have, which means she does not have a huge chunk of Unity Party. Okay. So how is she going to win when Ellen is not on board? Address that quickly.
So, and I hope you give me a chance to address it.
Please be brief too because of time.
So, Unity Party without Ellen Johnson Sirleaf in 2017, Joseph Boakai was able to rack up 440,000 votes without Ellen Johnson Sirleaf. That's a fact that we can't argue. None of us can argue that. Ellen did not support him in 2017. He racked up 440,000 people. That is a significant number. He came second in the elections. So it means without the establishment, people sympathize with JMB and say, this is my candidate. And those people came second. Right? There you go. The number is right there.
6,000.
I mean, yeah. I mean, usually me, I can let a round up numbers. I don't, I don't give you specific number. I'll give you a round up. So I'll tell you Cummings got 100,000. I'm not going to tell you 112,000. I tell you he got 100,000 votes. I mean, that's the way that I look at my numbers, right? Mm-hmm. So I'm saying this to say that the fact that Joseph Boakai was able to raise to get 440,000 votes across the country, the difference between Joseph Boakai and George Weah in 2017 is only 126, 130,000 votes. Believe it or not, it's just a little over 100,000 votes. So if you look at that number, realistically, JMB is not a small candidate in the country. What JMB needs to do is to mobilize that same eagerness that people
and does he have that ability?
So it's not him as a person, it's the institution. It's how you open your tent and bring in more influential people under the tent that can raise that number up. Because you already have a significant portion of George Weah, 596,000 votes that are already angry with him and don't want to hear the name George Weah anymore. So how do you get those people now that are angry with Weah to join the Boakai team is what Boakai and his team people need to focus on. What I see them doing, however, is the same thing CDC people are doing currently. They're making this thing about entitlement. They're making it to seem that the election over already and they've won the election. And so those who are against them, they're against them. Those that are in their favor, they will stay with them. So you're either for us or you're against us. When you do that into politics at this early age, you may lose out on a lot of opportunities.
Thank you.
I think they're losing out on those opportunities.
Robert, your turn. Boakai.
Look, Boakai for me, look, I got to be honest. I'm very blunt, and I'll just say as it is. I think that I have a lot of question about Joseph Boakai's ability under the Unity Party brand, the Unity Party institution. But let me say this. I've always said that the Unity Party folks have got to be very strategic in a sense that in 2017, even though Ellen Johnson Sirleaf did not publicly support him as it was expected, there was a lot of things that went on behind closed doors. Uh, the Joseph Boakai Unity Party still had a difficult time, trying to distinguish and set themselves apart from Ellen Johnson Sirleaf, right? I believe it was because there were lots of successes under Ellen Johnson Sirleaf, which Joseph Boakai was an integral part of, that they needed to run their campaign. But then there were things that he also said in an attempt to try to distance himself, which was, I was a part car. I was only vice president of Liberia. I did not have the mentor of authority to make decisions, right? What Joseph Boakai now have got to do, and his people, they've got to say to Liberians, and this is free advice, that the Unity Party under Joseph Boakai is not the same as the Unity Party under Ellen Johnson Sirleaf. That this is no longer the Ellen Johnson Sirleaf Unity Party. This is now the Joseph Boakai's Unity Party. This is the Joseph Boakai show now. And yes, even though I was part of this brand for 12 years, and like you said, there are big baggages are answering with this Unity Party brand and what they didn't do, what expectations that were not met for this 12 years under Ellen Johnson Sirleaf. Here is what we are going to do differently under the Joseph Boakai-led Unity Party. Because, it's hard to separate Unity Party from Joseph Boakai. You cannot separate the history of Unity Party, the institution, from Ellen Johnson Sirleaf, even though she's no longer there, right? But what you can try or attempt to do is to say, my Liberian people, that there are people who are still mad at the Unity Party. There are people who believe there were massive corruption that occurred under Ellen Johnson Sirleaf. There are people who believe Ellen Johnson Sirleaf had the influx of support from the international community. She had money coming to this country. And with all the resources that came through, there were people who were still mad that she didn't, for instance, reform the education system. There are people who are still mad that there were government officials that were still traveling abroad, including herself, including the very Joseph Boakai, abroad for medical attention. There were people going to South Africa. There were people going to Ghana, neighboring Ghana, Nigeria, and other places. And Ebola exposed, even though Ebola was this unknown and unforeseen, disease that came in our country, it really exposed how bad our health system were. There are young people who graduated from school that they are right now, and they still had no job in the private sector. The government for 12 years was still the highest employer in our whole country as it is now. So there are people who are still mad that we gave you 12 years and you didn't do a lot of things. Why should we give you another 6 years? That question was asked in 2017. The same question will be asked in 2023. Even though you have a CDC government now that they can argue, we are completely a lot better 12 years ago than we are 6 years ago, right? They can make that argument. But I think Joseph Boakai and his team will have to really set a clear distinction as to what leadership vision they have that separate them from Ellen Johnson Sirleaf. But I think he has an uphill battle yet.
Thank you.
I really want to respond to some of the things that Robert is saying.
Odo Morris, I have to manage the time here. We're on the radio and it's a straight jacket kind of time. And we have to discuss, we have Tiawan Gongloe to discuss. So let me take off my host cap a little bit because we all have to be part of this conversation. Look, we're talking about 4 men running and who we believe will have the least chance to win and who will have the most chance to win and why. Let me start with George Weah. Look, if we were where we were with the CPP, I can say in no uncertain terms that George Weah is done politically, that he does not have any chance whatsoever to winning 2023 if this so-called CPP that we knew would have died like this, all right, have helped, magically, George Weah will be no more in 2023. It was clear as we saw the by-elections numbers for the CDC to be losing in Montserrat County, despite George Weah raising candidates' hands. That have never happened since George Weah and the CDC came to power. For them to have come to that point, we knew that was the strongest indication that the CDC was a problem or had a serious problem. Now you come to the economy. The CDC came with this lecture of, well, you can't, you propos. The CDC is a huge contradiction of whatever propos they were talking about, right? So you have a president, he says a propos president, he comes to power, he says he's for the poor, right? And he built condominiums, some people put it at 49. And not only that, he turned his nice street into a palace. What I'm saying here is that Joshua did not get to business to meet the needs of people who stood in the rain and in the sun. He was not particular about improving their lives. He was particular about improving his life. Now, drilling on the propos mantra, President Weah went to Moscow with a delegation of 145 people. I have never heard that in Liberia's history. This is a propos president that takes 145 people, pay for their hotel, their food, and per dime. And 99% of these people had no role to play other than to job warm chairs and get money. When they are allotting just $10,000 for what they call grassroots sport development in Liberia according to their budget. So George Weah and the CDC have demonstrated sheer insensitivity, sheer insensitivity when it comes to the needs of the Liberian people. So George Weah has done more to deny himself the presidency for 2023. The only problem now is that the CPP did not help themselves, they hurt themselves, and that is why George Weah is feeling that he can survive. Now let me come to Tiawan Gongloe. Tiawan Gongloe is an excellent candidate.
So, actually, can we stick with George Weah a little bit? Because I feel like
because of time, I'm going to speak and I give you guys the chance to do the same thing. We have to wrap it up here. We have to take calls.
Okay.
Tiawan Gongloe is an excellent candidate in terms of character, in terms of his reputation, in terms of a public record. The only thing for Tiawan is where the Liberian people see what he possesses, those good qualities that he has as a Liberian citizen. He has impeccable understanding of what Liberia is. He has impeccable understanding of our Liberianness, the issues, our governance system. He knows the ills, and he has ideas as to how, to make the changes. More so, Tiawan Gongloe is a man of principle. This is a guy that when he says, this is what I'm doing, that why he stands on, and he cares less whether or not, somebody else says something otherwise. That is the kind of leader that we need. That means when we say, hey, we're fighting corruption, he will fight corruption to Vanille, now Ellen Johnson Sirleaf, who will call it, what she called it at the time, vampire, and turn around and say, well, we did not win the war on corruption. That is impressive. But does Tiawan has a better chance? Right now, he does not have any better chance, but he has time to create a better chance for him. We can only wait and see. As for Cummings, the issue of money is his strongest, chip. And because he has money, he can bring a team together. He deploy that team for the team to really go to work. They are not there yet, and they have to work overtime to make it happen. I agree with you. Cummings' chance is the slimmest, just as Tiawan is also. Now, when it comes to Boakai, he has this name recognition, which is a plus for him. He was chosen, Weah was chosen over him, and people are having remorse, they will come to him. But if Boakai is to win the election, that will not be because what Boakai has done as an individual. It will just be people are making a decision as to who is better, and that is Boakai. But in terms of the record, in terms of leadership, Boakai is not a leader, he's not a transformational leader, he does not even know his own surrounding. It will be a disaster
I have a
Boakai were
fundamental disagreement with you
president.
now. We'll have
It
that
will be a
conversation there. Okay.
disaster. No, let me tell you, why did I say that? It was a disaster when Boakai took over the Unity Party. He and Ellen Johnson Sirleaf were throwing the same as each other. He did not cut off the fire. He became a leader of the CPP. The CPP went in flames. He gave all the excuses after making promises that I'm the one that have the track record of resolving issue. He could not even resolve issue between him and his younger brother, who were he attended the same school. What kind of leader you think he is? He has no track record of providing transformational leadership that Liberia needs right now, intentional leadership that Liberia needs right now. Joseph Boakai is a classical chairwoman, and it's sad that this man is in the race for our country. And you guys can go.
Morris, go ahead.
So, I mean, you've made a lot of different assertions that I feel that I have a stake in. With respect to President Weah, I think President Weah still has a lot on his side. We need to pay attention to some of the things that are happening in the country. He's the president, of course, so he has control over the state. What that means is that the local governance authority is beholden to him. They are loyal to him. Superintendent, town chiefs. He gave all the town chiefs how many two vehicles, two motorbikes. Those are the people that actually are the ones that they are the quote unquote considered influencers in politics. They are the influencers. So you can't ignore the fact that those people exist as an advantage to President Weah. Now, in addition to having the state on his side, he also has the state resources. So he can detect how the state resources is disseminated. You remember the Justice Gone budget, they put $10 million in the budget for President Tour. That means that the president has that $10 million at his that means he's 10 steps ahead of everybody that is running against him. $10 million.
We don't win this election, Murray. We saw that with Thomas Fowler.
So I'm trying to give you my own analysis about how I see the opportunities and advantage that he has as a president. You don't have to agree, Anthony. It's okay, but I'm giving my point of why I feel that he has an advantage in those things. Besides that, Weah has appointed 2 Supreme Court justices. He's about to appoint the third one. Pay attention. He has appointed 2 Supreme Court judges. He is about to appoint the third one. One of them is about to retire. If Weah appoints the 3rd Supreme Court judge, there's no way in hell that any election case will go to the Supreme Court that Weah will not win. The other part is that everybody in the election commission, almost everybody Weah has appointed. So he has all these different things that play out for him. We should not ignore those things. I'm not saying that people are not angry with Weah, but I'm saying also that those things play in his favor. On the other part that you're making about Joseph Boakai, I have some disagreement with you. I'm not saying Joseph Boakai is the perfect leader, but I'm saying Joseph Boakai is a statesman. He did one thing in 2017 that I admire. When the elections came to become a controversial decision-making point, when everybody that was in a corner was telling him, he said, "Papa, don't accept it, but they don't accept it," he said, "I will not allow any blood to be on my hands." A profound statement. Liberians don't easily accept results. We've seen that in plenty other competition in the country, where it become acrimonious. They become enemies now because of what happened. Look at what happened in Lokintan election with Abu Kamara and Talia Ure. We saw that. It become very acrimonious. People destroy properties, they destroy things. So we have to pay attention to some of these things. So as much as Joseph Boakai may not be able to be a transformational leader, like you said, but at least you will have some sort of stability in the country. I can guarantee you, Joseph Boakai wisdom will bring some kind of stability in the country than we're having right now.
We have stability on where our people are crying, so it shouldn't be
No,
about
we
stability.
don't.
We
No, we
already
don't.
have it. Let me hear you so I can get back to my crew there to take some calls, please.
Yeah, I think I won't waste your time too long, but I just want to touch on, because I already gave my perspective on Joseph Boakai. I want to touch on Gongloe. Look, let's be honest. Can Gongloe win the election in 2023? The answer is no. He doesn't have a chance. The answer is no. He doesn't have. Yeah, he might be a great guy, but the records are there. It's been proven that being a great guy in Liberia does not win you elections, right?
Can he gain a chance? He doesn't have it now, or he would never have it throughout
I
this
think it's
election.
too. I think it's too late. I think. Look, I'll tell you who's ahead of him. I think Cummings is ahead of him. Even though you say Cummings is the least, I think Cummings is way ahead of him, right? With regards to campaign, Cummings has been out there. With regards to money, Cummings has money, and he's out there, right? I don't think he stands the chance of winning the election in 2023. Maybe the next election, right? Or maybe if he decides to run for a legislative office to become a lawmaker. But I don't think the presidential election, I don't think he has a chance. George Weah, just briefly, I think the opposition, there are some truth to the fact that there's grown to seditions. There are truth to the fact that there are Liberians who may have been sympathizers of George Weah in 2017 and who saw themselves in George Weah from Editional's perspective. And they are not happy with some of the decisions this government have made for the first 12 years. But I think the opposition will be making a mistake if, just to piggyback off of what Morris said, if they forgot the significant advantage George Weah has. Okay, George Weah is still a very popular man in Liberia. Other than the fact that he has state resources, other than the fact that he's the president of Liberia, he still have a lot of people that love him. He's still a lovable guy in that country, and he's still one of the most popular Liberian in Liberia. And so, yeah, there are people who may not be happy with him. There are disgruntled seditions, but make no mistakes. You saw what happened today. I think they have started the process of bringing folks back on board. One last point I want to make with the whole CDC thing and George Weah thing, it discourages me when it comes to the opposition black in our country. This is what I said. And this is the reason why I'm not part of any political institution in our country. Look at you have almost 6 senators that joined George Weah. 2 came from Liberty Party, Anthony. 2, I think it was either 2 or 3, and 1 came from the ANC. There were other folks who called themselves independent. The question is, these folks are a direct representation of the people from their respective districts, right? If the people are not happy with this leadership, if their lives have not been changed, on what grounds are these guys giving their support to CDC? On what grounds are they joining the party? And so the elections in Liberia are very complicated. The people themselves are very complicated to a larger extent. And so 2023 should not be overlooked. People may not be happy with George Weah, but he has a lot of advantages and disadvantages, if I may, with regards to his opponent and how ahead he is. And that's just what it is.
All right, guys, what we're going to do, we're going to take a short break. When we come back, we'll be taking some calls from our team there in Liberia, and we will also take some calls from here in the U.S. A short break, and we will be right back. Stay tuned, folks.
At Focus on Liberia, we discuss everything Liberia, from education to politics, arts and culture, entertainment, agriculture, history, religion, family, and technology. Focus on Liberia uncovers and showcases the best of Liberia and shows the world the truth about Liberia. We educate, elevate, and promote all things Liberia. We conduct interviews, panel discussions, debates, and more. Tune in to Focus on Liberia on Facebook and YouTube and be a part of the stories that make up the news.
This is Focus on Liberia, and I am Dennis Jah.
Thank you, Dennis Jah, and I am Anthony Sie. We are about to take some calls. We just lost our crew in Radio Land there, unfortunately. Folks are joining us only on Facebook and also on YouTube. The number to call is in a strolling text below. That is the number that starts with 605-313-6004. Enter the code 791-403#. Please do that, and you will be part of the conversation. while we are hoping that the crew in Liberia, I'm sure they're going to make that effort to come. Join us again. This number is 605-313-6004. Enter the code 791403 pound to join the conversation. That number is also in the storing text below. Let me see if we have a caller here. Let me see. I think we have one. Evis, are you there?
All participants are on hold.
Morris, are you there, Mr. Morris?
Yes, I'm here, Mr.
All right, please. You have a minute. Let's hear you.
Yes, again, thank you. Well, I can't make my comment without saying I just want to make this quick public announcement. If anybody in Liberia is listening to this show, tell your daughters, tell your sisters to stay away from those Arab countries. I think you guys did an excellent job today on this platform, kind of exposing what's really going on there. I really want to make sure that people who listen to this platform will warn their relatives from going to those places. But quickly, let me just get to the topic today. When it comes to JMB, there's only one condition I would ever consider JMB presidency in Liberia. It's going to be based on the vice president that he picks. Number one, the old man is old. Age is not in his favor. Number two, the people he surrounds himself with, most of them are people who are there, people who sucked that country's blood, meaning they were financial vampires in the Ellen Johnson Sirleaf government. They stole from that country as well. So they're not innocent people who are coming from Mars, who just coming on the playing field that's going to help and resuscitate the country. The only way I was supposed to Boakai. My first choice is Gongloe, but like Mr. Gagwa said, Cummings is ahead of me when it comes to popularity and when it comes to financial strength. So my second choice would be Cummings, and Joseph Boakai will be my last choice. If you pick some kind of person who's going to just be sitting down doing nothing like himself when he was vice president. If you pick a young, vibrant person who has the willpower to fight for the Liberian people, I will consider him. But when it comes to his age, his business, I can never support Joseph Boakai.
Morris, give me one young, vibrant person you think he should pick, for Joseph Boakai to probably become your first choice.
I will tell you this, it can't happen because they're both from the same country, because I want to go outside of the box. I would say Steve Zago. Steve Zago is a strong-headed person, but he's from Lofa, and it's against the Constitution for two people to come from Lofa.
All right.
So out of the box, I would say let him go with Cummings or let him go with Gongloe. Those two people are people of integrity, but Gongloe will be my best choice for him. Outside of that, I can't see myself voting for Boakai. He can't imagine a lot of people from the South.
Some people are saying he should pick Costa. Some people are saying he should pick Costa. You think that would be a political suicide for him?
Stop trivializing the conversation now.
All right.
Listen to your bad man.
Thank you. Hey, these are things we hear, man. We in the media, we hear a lot of things, gentlemen. I would not say something that I didn't yet. Let's come to Prince. Prince, can you read the number that in Radio Land so folks can join in there quickly?
Thank you. So this is Prime FM 105.5 here in Monrovia. This is Focus Liberia. The numbers you can call to be a part of the show tonight is 07770959558. 07770959558 is the number you can call. Let me once again call the number. Is the number we're using tonight. 07770959558. 07770959558 is the number. At least we can take 10 calls, 10 minutes call rather, and then we can.
All right, yeah, gentlemen, you guys gonna give us at least some kind of 10-minute extra. These guys have to get home late in the night, and that's what I'm trying to fight with Morris with this time here.
We got a caller on the line.
We got a caller. Yeah, let's take that one quickly.
Good evening. Hello, your name, where you call us from? Hello, you live. What's your name? Go ahead. Yeah, you live on Prime FM. What's your name, sir? I'm hearing you. I don't know why he's not getting me. Let me tell you. Hello.
Yes, Single Ability. I'm calling you from New Community Liberia.
Go ahead, Sego, make a point. What do you have to say?
I just want to thank you guys for deliberating on issues that very much pertain to Liberia.
Anthony, can you get a caller line?
Oh yeah, it's clear. Go ahead.
Go ahead, Sego. Make your point, Sego.
Thank you very much. I want to thank y'all for giving us the opportunity to share with you on your show.
All right.
I believe that most of the discussion and actually share. We sit in Liberia here, we understand the situation. There are a lot of allegations. People just sit there and get a lot of allegations against this government. We are looking at the situation that this government is currently facing. That people will just sit and just condemn the government by saying that the government is corrupt. But in a paper fallacy, I think it is very much ugly. People shouldn't just sit and let the fact.
What kind of situation the government is faced with? What kind of situation the government is faced with?
The situation that the government is faced with, the situation that Nigeria got used to from 2005 to 2017, that is the situation that is currently.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Gentlemen, as the callers call, please, as the callers call, let them tell us who stands the best chance of winning. Is that Weah? Is that Cummings? Is that Boakai or Gongloe, and why? Simple question, and let them give their take so that we can move to the next caller. We are waiting.
Thank you so much. So caller 0770. Another caller is on the line. Good evening. Hello. What is the name and where you call us from tonight?
Yeah, I'm just watching a call from
Thank you so much. I'm sure you've been following the show between the current president and the former vice president and Mr. Alexander Cummings and Tiawan Gongloe. Who do you think will be a very formidable force to the current regime, and why you think so, and who would not be?
Yeah, for me, the way I'm seeing it, because with the common people on the ground now, it go for any. So you also understand that the former vice president have edge. So who we can the whole party from in that country. Yeah.
So you think
they all supported this government. So I can tell you that we are not seeing anything like that.
Okay.
So the best thing that I think we got to change the ball on the other side by trying the government.
Thank you so much. Another caller is on the line. Good evening.
Good evening.
What is your name, sir? Where are you coming from?
I'm back with T. Waters, calling you from Balancing Estate.
Go ahead, Bagley. So the same question comes to you. The current president and those who are opting to take the seat, the presidency, talking about the former vice president.
Who stands the best chance and why?
Who stands the best chance and why you think so, and who does not?
I think the current president, George Weah, Cuban, stands a very better chance to win the 2023 election. And my reason is very much he struck his person in the circumstances with all fairness. There are a lot of things that people are saying about his regime is not true. People are speculating about corruption, not true. I think this president has the mind and the strategy in him to carry Liberia forward. I think for the past 5 years, he has done a lot. And I think we should be giving him another opportunity.
And who does not stand a chance at all?
Did he say
who does not stand a chance at all?
Yeah, please listen to a few questions. I'm asking one question, and Anthony going to ask you another question.
And who does not stand a chance at all among the 4 men that we know will be running?
Anthony is asking you who does not stand a chance at all among the other.
The guy does not stand a chance is Tiawan. He portrays himself to be too fair, and these are the kind of people that can cause problems in the future. The guy that they haven't allowed them for, they're the one was given an opportunity. That's what they're trusting. That whole family consider himself to be too fair, and I am very much afraid of that.
What is wrong with somebody being too fair? What is wrong with somebody being too fair?
I said, no holy man.
What's wrong with somebody being too fair? He's asking you.
I'm saying he prefers to be too fair. I'm not saying that he's too fair. He professed to be too fair.
What's wrong with that?
Because it's not fair, and he professed to be.
Okay. All right. Let me ask you.
Let's take the
Let me
other
ask
one.
you. No, let me ask you one question. You said the issue of corruption is speculation. I'm sure. How are you saying that? If that is, if it is speculation, with all the international, release from the U.S. embassy, from other diplomatic partners that have complained of corruption in Liberia, are you also saying they are released as speculations?
We live on the ground. When we're doing this international celebration, the lady that represented the United States president said that the issue of corruption is an issue that I've always been something like zero. They didn't specifically that the Georgia government is corrupt.
So how about the other report about the raw form?
You know what?
The other report about the raw form.
The issue of the rule. Let me give you one.
Gentlemen, let our caller go. Let's take another
person. Thank you, brother. We have to take one more caller. Then we'll call it a day. Okay, so Anthony, can we take more calls?
Yeah, please.
5 more calls.
Yeah.
All right, so caller 0770, sorry, 077709595. It is the number we're using tonight. 077709595. It is the number to call and be a part of the program tonight. This is a Prime FM, and the program is Focus on Liberia with the team from the USA. There we're discussing the upcoming elections. Who do you think stands a change against the current regime? Call us 0770 And I'm sorry, I'm so used to the Prime FM long, but we're using this number as an alternative number to see how the line looks like. But next week we're going to have our regular line on. So call us on 07770 07770 That is the number to call.
If there's no caller, I have one from my end here. Jimmy Eastman is on the line. Jimmy, we are pressed with time here. Quickly.
Okay, next show, Robert, what's going on, man? Listen, I don't know why they think Boakai has a chance, because the vehicle he was supposed to use, he allowed them to destroy it. The CDC was his only vehicle to power, because he belongs to the UP. The UP is of old. That whole planet, if they're going to stand a chance in the future, they're going to have to revamp it and bring new blood, fresh blood in there. Now, with his being an older member, if they're going to make any country, then we're going to just coronate him. But if he's not ready to go and contest, he will lose. And the person to win, the hands down, is Mr. Weah. He has all cards in his favor. It is his election to lose. Now, Tiawan and
Cummings,
they are up and coming. But they are distant in the race. It's really Weah's race to lose. Period.
Thank you. Let me bring in one more caller. Your phone number ends in 89. Quickly, please.
Boli
Weah, quickly, you have a minute, and we'll join our Liberia call. Yeah, please.
Yes, I just have a minute. I think with your analysis, I would really like for Boakai and Tiawan Gongloe to be a team. I didn't say that because what you said is a huge power man, and once you have a vice president, like in local politics, once you get a good vice president, you can really see how you can have your policy, but don't just have a vice president and ignore the vice president.
So will you think stand a better chance among these 4 men that we know right now? Is Weah to win it? Is Cummings to win it? Boakai or Gongloe?
Boakai will only win with a good vice president, and that will be he and Tiawan Gongloe should get together.
And if he doesn't get a good vice president, who's going to win it?
I think, we will say welcome again by Weah.
All right. Thank you so very much. Let's take our calls there. Radio Land. Prince is over to you. Get the calls.
Thank you. So, caller, what is your name? Where you call? Hello, what is your name? Where you call from? Hello? Sorry, the caller just. Hello? Good evening. Your name? Where you call us from? Go ahead, Mohammed. I'm sure you've been following the show, so we're asking questions tonight. Among the opposition candidates against the current...
not only the opposition candidates, the 4 persons we know will be running. Weah, Boakai, Cummings, and Gongloe. Which one of them stand the best chance of winning?
So I'm asking you, I say among those who ought to take a seat, including the current president and those going against him, who do you think stand a better chance? Yeah, that's a question.
Among all those 4 guys you call, I think George Manuel Weah stand a better chance.
Why you think so?
I believe that there will be no need for us to change George Weah because the circumstances and Liberia is facing currently and what George Weah is doing. I think we should maintain it because the other guys are coming, they're not going to make any significant difference. Joseph Boakai is out of the picture. He's already cool. He's very much in now. Does not have the agility to provide the kind of a rigorous leadership that Liberia requires. So I think for me, he will be at the bottom, he will be at the peak, and that George Weah should be given another 6 years to continue so that he can continue because he still has the strength and his spirituality. With everything that's been said against him, I think he's doing well for the country.
I know that. If you were to pick a second choice, hold on. If you were to pick a second choice, who would that second choice be?
My second choice would be Cummings. I think Cummings is better off, and I think after George Weah, I think he can take the second spot because he still has strength in him, and I think he has some international exposure. He has led as a manager.
And who should pack his bags? Who should pack his bags? Is he listening to me?
So listen.
And who should pack his bag and go find?
Hello. Yeah, you still asking
question.
Who should
pack his bag and go find place to sit down?
What?
Who should pack his bags and find place to go sit down?
Who is now a contender here? Who should pack the bag and go find place to sit?
I think the person that should be going to bed now, is Tiawan.
All right. Thank you.
Any
other caller? I know I was saying the answering guy is bad, but I'm just asking my question.
Thank you. We'll take another caller.
Let's take one more.
Yeah, we'll take one more from here and then call it a day. This caller is what's this call? Good evening.
Good evening. How you doing?
I'm good, man. What is the name? Where are you calling us from?
I'm calling from on Lane Street.
Mohammed, go ahead. We're asking questions tonight among all the contestants, including the current president. Who stands a better chance and why you think so and who does not?
Some of the people that stand a better chance for 2023 election.
Why you think so? Why are you saying that?
Let's be realistic. The first thing is a technical government. Some of us ready to put this government into power to work the tears of the itches, the tear of the widow, and where you can meet it. This government stated that was not going to be a spectator to our own economy. But that's bad. This government has turned our hands around in a bad way. That don't even give some of us the faith or the willingness to vote for George Weah for 2023. The point in case is that there are a lot of lives are losing in this country and there's no justice.
All right.
justice works along with peace.
Thank
when
you.
peace is there and no justice, it's very hard to pull. It's just the fact that Nigerians are tired with war. Definitely.
All right.
If Nigeria are not tired with war, they say
Gentlemen, that will do it.
what is going on, it was going to bring another problem.
Gentlemen, please let go the caller because of time.
Thank you so much. We more than 1 minute. We can go beyond that. We're going to be here on Monday. We hope that you follow and you're going to have all of those.
If I'm opportune to leave from my country because I left from my country, I can't follow with this conversation.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you. And we want to say a very big thanks. We want to say a very big thank you to all our callers and viewers, those who have commented. We will not go to the comment because of time. We want to say thank you. For most of the comments, I will read the remaining ones so that I can get informed. You people are very, very helpful as well. Gentlemen, let's get your closing quickly. Let's start with you, Robert.
Anthony, thank you so much. Thanks to those guys, Prime FM. Hopefully, when I'm in Liberia, I'll come visit you guys. Okay. But it's always great to be on Focus on Liberia. Man, I got to say, I'm proud. I'm so proud, man, of how far Focus on Liberia have come with the relay in Liberia. I think there are lots of great voices that needs to be heard across just these United States. And to my friend and my brother Morris, I haven't seen him man in a long time, man. So hopefully, I'm not sure if he's still in Philly. Hopefully next time, oh, you're not in Philly no more. Oh wow, yeah. But hopefully we'll get to see some. But look, the election next year is a very, very important election. And I've said I am not going to be telling people, Anthony, who to vote for, because I come from a very independent place. I don't care what nobody says, but I will be educating Liberians like I did in 2017, the processes of asking and the tough questions and holding politicians accountable. There are folks who say, hey, George Weah came with his pro-pope message in 2017, and there are things that he said on the campaign trail that he will do. I think Liberians who voted for him have the right to ask him those questions when he reappears on the campaign trail. Sir, have you done what you said you would do? Have your government, have the budget reflected a pro-poor upliftment? Have you held folks accountable when it comes to corruption? Have you created jobs? I think folks should ask George Weah the tough questions. But I think they should also ask Joseph Boakai. What did you not do for 12 years from 2005 to 2017? What did you not do for 12 years that you would do differently with another Unity Party leadership? I mean, this party had 12 years of leadership, folks. This is no joke. They had the opportunity, and I think there are some ANC folks who I may disagree with, but Alice Cummings might just be looking and asking, when am I going to get the opportunity or half of the opportunities folks had to transform this country, right? So I think the question can go both ways. But I think we've got to start asking the bread and butter question. I told someone the last time, I said, people like myself, we are career professionals. We can struggle, but we enjoy that country regardless who's in office. We can come to Liberia and live the best life. We don't have to work in government. We work in the private sector. The question is, how many of us can do that in Liberia? So parents, those young graduates that would not be able to go in the private sector and go to a company, give their resume and apply for jobs and get those jobs based on merits, they must start asking themselves this question. How do we start asking the question about how do we create jobs for young people? How do we send our kids to school? How can we go out there, not beg or rice and oil and work for ourselves and feed ourselves and feed our family? These are all important questions that we must ask all of the candidates in 2023. And I'm begging Liberians, make the best judgment. This time around, let it not be about just the moment, the t-shirt, the $5, $10. Let it be about what will happen after 6 years. What will happen after 2 years after the election what will happen after inauguration. I think it's very, very important. But I think we've come a long way. And if there's one thing that we will all agree on, regardless of what happened come 2023, the peace that we have enjoyed uninterrupted must be sustained. The time of us addressing our grievances in the bushes are over. We have a judiciary system, even if we don't believe in it. We must take our argument. We must make our case to that system, and we must respect that system until we are able to change and transform that system. So again, it's always great to be on, and I look forward to the next one. And so send me the invitation, man. Thank you.
Those invitations are coming in numbers. Watch out. Maurice, your closing, please.
Aslan, thank you, man. Thank you for the opportunity to talk about, the country that all of us love so dearly, that we care about. I want to say thank you to my man Theo and Prince for hosting us as well. I know how tedious it is to be, in the heart of the city in the middle of the night when everybody's, have left the city. I see some of the risk that some of you have to go through. So I want to say thank you, and we appreciate your effort. It's honorable on your part to host us. And Asuni, you know that I'm always here. Anytime you're ready for me, I'm willing to talk about these things. But I mean, overall, some of the issues that I want to talk about is, the calls that we got from Liberia. One of the things that I say, when I'm doing my development classes is that democracy can work in an environment where ignorance is pervasive. And I'm not saying it to insult anyone, but if the citizens are not educated enough, if there are no economic opportunities, economic options for people to get, to live a life like Robert is saying, or like we are, it becomes difficult for you to make political decisions that are unbiased. People will make decisions. The first thing everybody think about is their stomach. What am I eating today? And if that person is going to be relying on a political figure, then that political figure will dictate how they make their political decisions. It's like the United Nations. America put in the most money in the United Nations. They decide how United Nations decisions are made. It's like, peacekeeping mission. Whoever put the most money in determine how things happen. So I'm saying this to say that in a society like Liberia, where poverty is pervasive, you don't have a lot of people that have, disposable income. Obviously, the political figures will determine that. And the way they determine that is to hold on to that money and let people struggle. The election time come around, then they release, bags of rice, give them T-shirts and post more liberty on it, and the people jump in the street and celebrate them for that short period, 3 months, 6 months, wherever it is. After that time, everybody go back to the struggle that they go through. We can talk about Unity Party government in 12 years. I'm ready to talk about that conversation with Robert anytime, to talk about some of the successes and some of the challenges. I'm not saying Unity Party government is the perfect government. I'm not saying that. There were massive corruption. That's a fact. But some of the progress that was made in 12 years under President Sirleaf, they were huge. You can point to them. They were huge development that were made that we must recognize as a country. No government will succeed in Liberia if you don't recognize the previous progress that was made. Some of the struggle that Weah and Pete team is going through is the fact that they criticize so much. And so they increased the expectation of the people. And they got there and they couldn't even match up to what President Sirleaf delivered. And so people are angry because expectation was high. We can have this conversation. Like I said, I'm ready to have that conversation about some of the successes. And I'll talk about some of the challenges as well. The country is still divided. We're still on edge. There is a likelihood of conflict. People don't like to hear it, but those are the facts. The conflict, there are signs of conflict that may erupt. And if we don't take, very keen attention, things may get bad. We're praying for hope. Hope the country gets better. But thanks for the opportunity again. And I'm always here too, man. Anytime you're ready, just, you know how to get me, my man.
All right. Thank you. I have that phone number and I know how to get to you. I want to say thank to you, gentlemen, Robert and Morris, for coming and playing guests. I appreciate we had a very good discussion. I think Liberians will not be disappointed enough, even though they have their disagreements, especially with me, which I enjoy though. I want to say thanks to Tio and Prince that we have to delay them for about 30 minutes downtown Monrovia. So they might be leaving 11:30, which might be a little riskier there. 2023 is, of course, the magical year, if there's anything called magical. Why am I calling it the magical year? That's when the political magic will be performed by the magicians, the Liberian people, the voters. They will decide. The history is that they always decide, but they always pay the price, even if they made that decision in their opinion, in their favor. They always pay the price. Will they pay the price when they make that decision? Of course, yeah, they will pay a price. The question is, will it be a good price? When the day for Doe was not good. When the day for Ellen, I can argue it was not good enough. Weah, some say it's good. Well, I disagree. Just as I disagree with Ellen Johnson Sirleaf. I'm looking for a Liberia that can be called the land of opportunity, of glorious opportunities. I'm not looking for where you eat dry rice and somebody's a minister and his stomach is big and the budget is just for Maggie and Weah and Twer and no one dare question them. That is not what I'm looking for. And some people say I'm emotional when it comes to JMB. I'm emotional when it comes to everybody. Have you seen those little girls sitting in the street and you think I shouldn't be emotional to change their situation? That is what I'm emotional about, because at the end of the day, we rely on these men to make this change thing happen. Are they going to do it? The history is that they have never done it. That's my point. Maybe you see it now. Gentlemen, I don't want to preach a sermon, but I'm just trying to say my own. My name is Anthony Sie, and this is the guy from the Hour of Politics here, Focus on Liberia. We love you, Liberians. Do it right and do it now. The power is in your hand for change. If change comes, it's change Boakai, it's change Tiawan, or it's change Weah. That is your choice. Whatever decision you make, Rabbi is right. You will pay the price or you will enjoy the fruit thereof. So do it for yourself and do it better this time. That's the message. Thank you, Prince. Thank you, Tio. I will pay a price for delaying you guys for the longest. I see you, gentlemen.
Yeah, definitely. We gotta pay that price. Definitely. We gotta pay
Rabbi, you will chip in to pay that
price.
I
will definitely chip in, Theo Williams. I will definitely do that. Okay.
All right. So the song says we are all Liberians, and that song is taking us home. Bye-bye, folks. I love you all.
We are Liberians.